And we are back here in the top four of the Memphis Masters TCG Regional. I am your host, Jeffrey Saran Rap Saran.
And I'm Sierra Hunter.
And we're here. We got a great match for you here. Our top four now consists of Gustavo Wada being able to take out Justin, Kyle Lesnowitz taking the other matchup there on the other bracket there. And now we're going to be seeing Daniel Altavilla piloting that Malamar deck, and also Michael Bergerac with the Buzz Rock.
All right, so we had Daniel Altavilla on stream earlier. We got to see him, but we haven't had Michael on yet, so this is going to be a little bit of an interesting one.
So yeah, Michael piloted a Buzz Rock deck, not similar to how we've seen Alex Kreckler pilot earlier with the Macargos. More of a streamlined Baby Buzz, heavy Lycanroc line that he would have to utilize here to take into consideration that his deck is weak to Psychic.
Oh yeah, this should be an interesting one too. We saw the Chimeco earlier being played, and that is in Daniel's list, so we'll see if Michael is going to be having issues with those Lycanrocs or not in his deck.
Absolutely there. Daniel's going to have a lot of, well, probably, right off the bat, you would assume Psychic should be able to take out the fighting, no problem there. But Lycanroc is a hefty Pokemon. 200 HP it does have there, and again, not hitting for weakness. So if Michael's able to chain Lycanrocs against his Malamar deck, and it looks like he even plays double colorless energy as well to be able to help stream these rock roughs a lot easier versus the traditional Buzzwole deck, which just plays straight fighting energy.
Oh yeah, doesn't seem to be any weakness policy or anything, just in case we start seeing that weakness on the Buzzwole in play, though I'm sure he's going to tone it back a little bit for this match.
Absolutely there. I think the best route for him is probably just to, one, maybe check through the Baby Buzzes and, set up those plays there, maybe get to those stage up turns, as well as just establishing a heavy Lycanroc GX line and using that to pilot his way through Daniel's deck. On the flip side, however, though, Daniel has a pretty streamlined strategy. Let's just get some Malamars out and hopefully get all the attackers there, chip away over at Michael's deck.
Now both of the players are setting up now. Going to get this match overway pretty quickly.
And we even talk about the other matchup as well. It's actually kind of a mirrored effect right now. So right now we're going to be watching Malamar versus Buzzrack. And on the opposite side of the bracket, it is also Malamar versus Bracket. So there could be an instance where we could have a mirror match in the final, whether it's Malamar versus Malamar, Buzzrock versus Buzzrock. So very interesting sequence of events, but no Zoroark in this top four.
No, and no Rayquaza either. We've seen a lot of that in the top cut going into day two, as well as yesterday, obviously, a lot of it was being played, but none of it making it. It's going to be really interesting if we have both these Malamar decks in the finals, especially with the lack of Chimeco in one of the decks. That could be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, I'm curious what's going to happen here in this top four and how it's going to transition, especially in the other bracket as well. But going to your point of some of the decks that, just missed it by a bit, Rayquaza missing it a little bit there. Only one Zoroark making it to the top 8, as well as Kirk favorite, the Passimian deck. Just not getting quite there. There's a few squeaking around, but unfortunately could not just get there.
Definitely a spicy deck, but not quite enough to make it to
not just enough spice to get it all the way there. And a couple other cool notes there is that there's a lot of players that had to go to distance as far as coming in at 6-2-1 and having to win 4 games straight and then tie the last round and get in. One of them is actually in top 4 right now, and that's Kyle Lesnowitz. And Joshua Taylor, who we had on stream round 13, just squeaked out at 9th place. So we're seeing the effect of this new ruling really people taking advantage of that as far as no more hard lock 32. It is now everyone with 19 points, and people are fully taking advantage of that.
Yeah, multiple people trying to ID into Top Cut who did make it. We had a couple bubble out.
So looks like Danny's still shuffling away right now, so we're not quite ready yet here to start this top 4 match. But very happy to have you on here. You're no longer behind the keyboard, now on the camera. So how are you feeling right now?
A little nervous. Get to be on the other side of it, but we'll see where this takes us.
Yeah, I'm sure the chat's excited to have you on here. A little bit of a different spin on what we've been bringing so far for this tournament, but very happy to be my partner in crime going through these last few rounds. But
really wishing I was paying more attention to what they were saying the whole time. After a couple rounds, headset was off. I'll let you guys do what you did best, and kind of wishing I kept it on right about now.
You know what? I think it was really smooth. You have a lot of prowess on the Twitch game yourself, commentating yourself. So I think it's going to run smooth. I think I'm very excited about this one.
If we had a wishy-washy deck in this top 8, I would feel a little more confident in my abilities. But unfortunately, here we are with proper decks.
No Super Soaker at this time. But it looks like they are setting up now. And Danny does have a milligan here. We're going to transition over to the game here in just a second here to bring you that action. And here we go. Haven't identified yet who is going first, but we do see that Daniel did mulligan. Michael will be able to grab an additional card here off of that. And we'll see what happens here once Daniel is able to set up.
And no verdict yet on who is going first this
We
round?
we don't know just yet. I don't see any indicator as to such. But regardless, Michael will be getting an additional card here, and we'll see what Daniel's going to do here with his draw. Hopefully, be able to get a basic, and we'll be able to get this top 4 match underway.
All right, that extra card that Michael could be drawing can be really helpful, making sure he can get those rock roughs established early game instead of getting them picked off, as we've seen in the previous rounds with all of our Buzz Rock matchups.
It looks like Daniel does have the Chimico as the active starter going into this top 4 match here. So it's going to be really unique here depending on who's going first as far as if Daniel will be able to take advantage of that Chimico, stopping Michael from being able to evolve to the Lycanroc GX. But looks like we're about to start here. Here to judge give him the okay. And players shake hands and we're underway.
Rockruff active for Michael as well. It'll be very interesting. Depending on how long he has Michael in play, he might be forced to be utilizing those Buzzwoles a little more than he would like to.
Yeah, and that's what Daniel wants to see, right? You know, more of the psychic weak attackers down there, and Daniel can actually really apply that pressure. But Brooklet Hill.
Brooklet Hill in play, shuffling through his deck. Is it going to be a Buzzwole just because of not being able to evolve, or is he going to get another Rockruff down in play?
I want to. It's probably going to be the initial Buzzwole and maybe actually probably the Diancie, honestly, because after this Chimico does take his attack in, he won't be able to get that Diancie down in play, which is what he'll need to really, really bump up that damage.
That's true.
So doing a quick inventory check right now. He's going through, wanted to see what's prized and what he might need for the remainder of the matchup here, but.
So we do see the baby Buzzwole being put down in play. Ultra Ball being played as well, discarding a Brooklet. Not quite sure on the other target quite yet. And we see that fight. Oh, maybe not. Maybe. and the fighting energy does go to the discard. Goes back through his deck.
He's going to be searching now. He's probably going to get the Tapu Lele and going to do the typical play we've been seeing all weekend, and that is turn 1, Tapu Lele for the Lily to get that awesome effect of drawing up to 8 cards.
Hopefully you can utilize some of those cards before Daniel comes in and perhaps disrupts it with one of those Marshadows that we've infamously seen.
We've seen that, pull off, amazing dividends for the person on the side of playing the Marshadow and disrupting the opponent. Sometimes can just get the wrong end of a let loose here.
That's very true. If he can't get those in-case set down and in play, that's definitely going to be hurting him in the long game, especially as soon as that Chimico gets knocked out here. So DCE on that Rockruff and first turn Lily.
Going to be able to draw. Looks like they have one in hand. Going to draw up to 7 cards right now. And not much. I mean, he has a Cynthia, fortunately, for the later turn.
Was that a Guzma that I saw there in his hand?
Looks like a Guzma, Cynthia, Lily, but no additional setup Pokemon going down and a pass over to Daniel's turn.
Not quite sure what he has in his hand quite yet with that quick little shuffling there. You can see a Psychic Energy.
Got the speed fan action always going on Daniel's Altavilla side of the field right now.
All right, we see something about to be played here. Maybe. Perhaps. And a Mysterious Treasure, and not quite sure what was underneath that there.
I'm going to guess it was a Psychic Energy. I think that's what he might have been skimming through as well. And
start throwing those into the discard, getting set up later.
Exactly. And, opting to go for the early let loose right now. Maybe he has the Inkays already in hand. Typically, he wants to grab those Inkays.
We do see a Marshadow GX in hand there, and the skateboard onto that active Chimico.
I actually kind of like this versus maybe establishing his board. He see that if you get the Chimico down, Michael will be unable to really do anything in the form of getting Zoroark GXs out. Sorry, not Zoroark GX, Lycanroc GXs out. So a let loose right now, disrupting both sides of the field. But Danny, as he mentioned in his interview earlier, he loves to let loose. He loves to be able to option to be able to have the less cards in hand, gets the Lily, gets to draw more cards. Could
be a little dangerous, though, if he starts getting that Buzzwole GX and swinging, get a Beast Energy, perhaps a Diancie in play if he can't get the Chimico's attack off. Could see a situation where those in-case come down, they just get taken straight out.
Yeah, interesting enough, it might be a little bit of a back foot play here that the DCE went to the Rockruff versus a Fighting Energy to the Baby Buzz. And the reason that's being here is Rockruff's attack is okay. It's not the best as far as getting the job done because you have to flip a coin. Versus you can get the guaranteed Sledgehammer on the Chimico with the Diancie like you're referencing to take it out. So right now, interesting spot for Michael to be in, and we'll see he plays it off. And right there on cue, the Lily play we were just mentioning off the Let Loose.
Almost every time hitting that first turn, Lily, that 8 cards. Super, super valuable in here.
So right now, Daniel really only has room to bench Inkay because he already has an attacker through Marshadow and also through Marshadow, and also has the other Marshadow taking up one bench spot there. So really can't, stretch out his strategy more with any other attackers. He has to kind of fuel through Marshadow GX at this point because he needs those Inkays on the bench.
Not quite sure what went to the discard pile there. Some sort of tool, the Psychic Energy following right after, getting another Inkay down on the bench. So only got 3 cards. Another Mysterious Treasure, Psychic Energy.
This is his third Mysterious Treasure in this one turn. So right now, Daniel, full speed ahead, getting every piece he needs right now to solidify this strategy. 10:05, hasn't lost a game yet, and he's really put himself in a good position to get to the final match right now.
Real question is the remaining cards in his hand. Make sure we can get a consistent draw for next turn to be setting up all of those Malamars.
Absolutely. We do see the Bell of Silence coming down on the Rockruff. And Fortune Love, I think we saw Cynthia and Daniel's hand for next turn. So we'll see going on the Michael side how he can respond.
Right. Not quite sure what to do yet. He does have the Guzma in hand. No, after that Marshadow. Correction. Sorry, he does not. Doesn't really look like he has too much. He's got that energy, perhaps a Beast Ring.
Yeah, we see a Beast Ring, see the energy, see Guzma and Ace Roll Lily. I do apologize. And I think what's curious here is there a way for him to, he actually could pull an interesting play here if the Diancie is in his deck. I can't play it actually. Yes, he can. Brooklyn Hill,
from Brooklyn
Hill, he can. So he can get the Diancie down, put that straight to the bench. Acerola, this damaged Rockruff, present the Buzzwole, and be able to do 50 damage to the Chimico. I think he's checking for resistance right now. We've had a lot of those instances with the Psychic Pokemon this weekend. Weakness, resistance, we may have not known what it was, but had to do a discount double check to make sure everything is all good to go.
So we do see that Diancie coming down on the bench here. Unsure yet whether he's going to be playing the Acerola, take it back. But it might be his best chance to be getting those Lycanrocs in play later.
He has a choice of either doing the Acerola play or even playing that Lily also. So both great choices here. But if he wants to do that immediate damage and pressure this Chimico, which is what we're going to see here, he's going to want to present that Buzzwole to the active and attack, hitting Sledgehammer for 50 damage.
Puts that Rockruff back down on the bench just to show him who's boss. Right, so 50 damage on the Chimico now, so one more hit and it is out. He's starting to put a Psychic Energy onto the Marshadow GX and then Cynthia's for a fresh new hand.
Awesome card here that we got returned back to the standard format. We used to have a similar card way back in 2011, 2012, and Professor Oak's New Theory. Now we got it back to substitute what we lost in Juniper and End, and everyone has a high count of it, 4 count, and Danny taking full advantage of that Cynthia.
So maybe unpopular opinion here, but I am especially missing End in this format. We've seen a lot of games where someone starts getting ahead, taking advantage, and it's done.
It's definitely really hard to come from behind in this format right now, but without that, hand disruption that End brought. But, players are doing the best they can to mitigate that, and with the different decks they're bringing to these tables here.
Yeah, it's very interesting how most people seem to be opting for the Marshadow instead of the Judge for that disruption instead, buying to keep their valuable supporter for the turn, but obviously that is the bench space that they're then taking up.
It's a little bit of pro or con. He has to take a bench spot there, but with everyone playing these high Lily counts, let loose and potentially have an out to a Lele or a Lily, you have a lot of different search cards to get there. It's really a good strategy to disrupt your opponent as well as get yourself to your point there. So a little bit of a high risk, high reward, but it definitely plays it to the favor of the person doing the let loose.
All right, we saw Psychic Recharge onto the bench Marshadow GX, and Chimico swings again.
And Bella Silence, and it's 20 damage this time because we are hitting for weakness on the Buzzwole. So a little chip damage right there. Buzzwole got a little scratch in the shoulder, but
don't think it's going to be too relevant going forward.
Not just yet, especially once Daniel starts getting these Psychic Attackers streamlined. That 20 damage is going to be really irrelevant there.
All right, so another DC on the second bench Rockruff here. Looks like he did have the fighting in hand if he chose, but decided to keep it instead. We do see perhaps an Ultra Ball in there as well.
Yeah, we do see an Ultra Ball, but a lot of energy too. So it's kind of a awkward spot to be in. You don't want to discard his energy, especially the double colorless. You need those for those rock rough. And we see here Sledgehammer knockout. No more Chimico.
Puts that Marshadow up front. So we did see earlier the Marshadow does have resistance to fighting. It got a couple people in trouble earlier. We'll see if Michael pays attention to make sure he's not catching himself in a sticky spot.
All right, interesting. Something's going on right now. That something happened to where they're questioning the judge for potential warning. I'm not sure what's going on.
I'm hearing the players say they're good.
I'm trying to figure out
We're
what.
just gonna maybe halt exact game discussion just in case.
All right, so I'm curious what's going on right now. Something I wasn't able to see the transition here. All right, I wonder what the issue is here.
Players seem to be resolving it themselves. There didn't seem to be anything on screen in terms of.
I wonder if something was like in a previous play that just, while it may have not disrupted the game, it was caught a little bit later on. So I'm not too sure. We're at the. It looks like Danny. It looks like gameplay is going to be going underway anyway. We'll see what happens here.
Not really sure what it could have been. We saw the manual attach for the energy on the Marshadow as well as the psychic recharge. Both plays have seemed clean so far. Not really sure what could be halting it.
Well, let's talk about the board state right now. Daniel's already establishing kind of what Marshadow brings to this deck. Not only is it a disruption card through Let Loose, it is also a pivot Pokemon for these fighting type decks. While it resists fighting, it also is a solid one retreat coster. So you can either attach the skateboard to it, attach psychic energy to it to recharge your discard pile with psychic energy, and be able to pivot through your Pokemon from there while you're trying to recharge.
All right, so it seems whatever issue they have resolved, and they're continuing forward with the play. He puts down that Guzma, brings up the Rockruff with one of the DCEs. Taking a quick little look through his discard.
Trying to see what attack he has to use for this knockout. And it looks like there was a Deoxys in his discard pile. Opting to do Power Blast. Marshadow with that awesome ability, Shadow Hunt. You can choose a Pokemon from your discard pile, has to be basic, and copy one of his attacks as your own. Energy requirements are fully needed, though.
All right, so he does have another Rockruff on the bench with an energy attached. So if he wants to be swinging with a dangerous rogue anytime soon, he is free to do so. And he looks like he's going to put that Rockruff active.
And
a little unsure.
He doesn't even have the dangerous rogue. He can actually attach a fighting energy. And if he gets a choice band here, 110, 140 with the choice band, already has 10 damage on the Marshadow. That's going to be 150, or even then, the Diancie also to do the additional damage. So you'll be able to save that dangerous rogue for any other threats that may come up afterwards. But we'll see what Michael does here.
Yeah. Does have the Cynthia in hand, so you can be using that to try and get that choice band, save his GX attack for a little later in the game here. Looks like he has the Ultra Ball, and it opts to Brooklet Hill instead, fanning through his deck.
Yeah, the cool thing with with the Brooklet Hill also is not listed to grab a card. He can do a double inventory check on what he has to make sure the plays he are going for are actually within his deck. The contents that he's going for are there.
Awesome, and he does take that other Rockruff. Takes a Lycanroc from the Ultra Ball, I'm assuming, to play straight to discard.
So we're going to go for the play here. Cynthia, I'm going to hope to hit, looks like one of his 2 remaining choice band, as one is already attached to the Buzzwole on bench. And we'll see what he get there.
It'll be interesting to see whether he decides to use this GX, take it out, even though it only has the 150 damage, or if he's just going to hit it, assuming he's just going to take it out now, deal with the bigger threat later.
I would really like to see just a Claw Slash for the knockout just to say the Dangerous Rogue, but I think if the only option he has is a Dangerous Rogue on this Marshadow, he may opt to take that knockout in that form.
But yeah, there is still 2 energies on that Marshadow there, a third attach. Not quite sure what's still in his discard, whether he could even knock out that Lycanroc if it stays alive this turn.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything big. He does have the Necrozma GX, but he's going to need some sort of pivot to be able to bring the Necrozma GX in the bench in the discard pile. He's going to need some sort of pivot to be able to. And it looks like he decides to use Dangerous Rogue for the knockout.
Use that knockout. Might bite him a little later. It's unfortunate he couldn't draw that choice band, but no other choice, deciding to take out the threat, opening up a bench spot, and we see the Marshadow put in the active once again. Been seeing an any of the Buzzwole GX, even in a deck search so far. It's not.
We've seen two, but he's opted not to play those, right? Because, going back to the strategy we were saying earlier, right? We want to try to streamline rock as much as possible, and maybe only if we're going to attack with a second weak Pokemon, it's going to be Baby Buzz. So I think he's doing a great job of mitigating that. Do see a Rescue Stretcher.
Not quite sure what he's bringing back quite yet.
Looks like it might have been a Marshadow back to his hand.
All right, and we see one of the Malamars being evolved on the bench there. Quick shuffle skills.
All right, so he does have the Marshadow right back. One energy attached there, and all three Malamars going to be able to, now that is knocked out, be able to Prismatic Burst through Necrozma GX that's in his discard pile. 10 plus 10 base damage, 60 more for every second energy you discard off of this Pokemon. And biggest thing here that this attack does, it takes Michael out of the Sledgehammer turn. That attack that there's 4 prizes exactly remaining on your opponent's side of the field, it will do 90 additional damage, but unfortunately, 3 prizes means no big Sledgehammer here from Baby Buzz.
Yep. He might be forced to actually bench one of those GXs just to be getting that Beast Ring turn, hope to take a KO of his own, though that's in very dangerous territory, just get knocked right back out.
Well, the fortunate thing here, he could actually, like you were saying before, going to the Beast Ring, he could Beast Ring to this Baby Buzz and set up a swing around being 80 base damage, 20 more for each heads you flip, 2 coin flip. With Diancie and Choice Spin, that puts him base 130. So all he would need is just 1 heads.
Just a little bit of luck, and he could get that knockout.
A little bit of luck and get that knockout there, if that's the option he wants to go for.
No, for sure. Putting that Buzzwole GX on now could put him in a very quickly losing situation here.
So hopefully from here, I think the play is, let's hope we get the heads off this Beast Ring here, and following course after that, we can set up a knockout on that. Marshadow might be a little tough with that resistance, but maybe a Malamar to take the final KO, as he'll go down to 1 prize if he gets there. Oh, Kukui.
Ooh, now he doesn't even need to hit that head.
No, Beast Ring now, perfect. Yep, good catch there. Now with Kukui there, mitigating the need for that heads flip there to get the knockout with swing around. 80, 110, Kukui 130, Diancie 150. Perfect math on Marshadow.
Awesome. That's going to be putting him down to only 1 prize, and 3 cute little Malamar sitting on that bench just waiting to be knocked out.
And he's setting up now, since he Beast Ring attached to the active, he still has attached return, setting up his Rock Ruff to be able to do the last blow, Bloodthirsty Eyes up a Malamar, retreat, and do Claw Slash for the game. We'll see how Danny responds here.
Yeah, there is 2 in the discard for the double color so far.
Yes.
All right, so he'll just have to make sure he hits one to be taking that final part of the game here. We see a Nest Ball from Daniel.
Deoxys
putting
here.
down the Deoxys.
That's going to be a really interesting spot right now. I wonder where he's going to try to Guzma up, if that's what he's eyeing. Or maybe just take the straight knockout and hope that Michael does not have every piece.
Seems to be the only option. He can't bring in that Rockruff.
Yep,
and
there he
he
is.
has the pieces in his hand.
He's going to present the Lycanroc and double colorless energy. Evolve, no effect. Oh, bring up Malamar. Yep. Claw Slash for knockout. And yep, there it is. Michael actually turning the table. The fighting deck prevailing over the psychic power prowess that Daniel Altavilla is piloting. Taking game 1 here in top 4.
It'll be interesting to see if he can get that same setup going into game 2. It was very strong from the start, getting both of those Rockruffs down. One gets knocked out. He takes it right back down.
I think the big thing here that is what is allowing Michael to really have a huge advantage right now is playing those double colorless energies. So instead of the traditional Buzz Rock deck that, boosts through Buzzwoles or do a straight fighting energy, he now makes it more of a Lycanroc Buzz deck. So we'll call it Rock Buzz. We'll reverse it there, put some respect on his name, and is able to kind of pilot his way through there, being the streamline attacker that has brought him here all the way to top 4.
Very fair. As long as he doesn't start off with that Buzzwole GX, he could put a little bit of damage around, but having that out on the board is going to be a little bit of a liability going forward here.
Fully agree there. I think what Danny has to do this game as well is, unfortunately, he early had to discard the Deoxys and Necrozma, which we would want to use as attackers in this matchup, and unfortunately had to use the fragile Marshadow in numerous cases. So
Yeah,
if he
giving
can
up those
mitigate
2
that,
prizes.
really easy 2 prizes. I mean, he was able to get a Kukui play after the Beast Ring. Like Rock GX was able to get one solid knockout on it through Dangerous Rogue. So if he's able to mitigate, keeping Marshadow off the board, and attack through Necross GX and Deoxys, we might be able to see a different outcome here in this game too.
Oh, for sure. It'll be interesting to see if he tries to start with the Kameko here, whether he's going to vie just to get all those Inks out in play. Presumably he's going to be going first this round.
And it almost seems like Chimiko wasn't just enough for to solve Michael out. He had the Chimiko, and 2 turns later he was able to KO with the Baby Buzz. So not sure Daniel's will go the same route here to stop any bloodthirsty eyes, but we shall see what he decides on.
Enough moving pieces in the Buzz Rock
Oh.
deck. Sorry, the Rock Buzz deck.
Thank you.
So he could be attacking with anything else. It's not like the Zora Rock deck where as soon as that Kameko comes out, they're kind of in a tough spot. We can see some play with that Baby Buzz there. We can get that Desperation play with that DCE on the Lele, provided it's already in the game with that first turn Lily that we see most people set up with here.
So kind of going to that point we were making earlier, you were saying that is it worth benching the Chimiko right away? It looks like he had it in hand, and I'm not sure he actually put it to the active. Yep, no, it's still in Daniel's hand, so he's doing a different strategy here. Looks like he might have put down a Deoxys or an Inkay versus the Chimiko, and thinking here, is it actually worth it in this matchup? Do I really want to halt my opponent's strategy or really just enhance my own?
Yeah, if they have options to be knocking you out and taking out these cards before you can even get set up, there's no point wasting your time setting it up. There's no point getting the Kameko out if it's going to be taken away from getting those Inkay set up.
Right here. So we're still shuffling away here, trying to get this next game started. Drawing the 7 cards here. Hopefully we find a basic so we can get this game underway. Oh, it looks like it's a Tapu Lele. Not what Michael wants to see right now, especially after the dominating game he had in game 1. So we'll see what Daniel does on his turn 1.
Looks like a Necrozma for the 1 card. I'm not quite sure on the other. Looks like an item. And it is an escape board. He vies to put that on the active Inkay. And then Mysterious Treasure. Not quite sure. Deoxys underneath?
Yep, he's discarding the Deoxys away. He may be thinking about that Marshadow GX play again, opting to discard Deoxys. But we do see it. they're jawing away back there. I was hoping maybe they didn't hear me say something. But opts to get the Marshadow. We're going to try that strategy again and see if it plays more into effect for in Daniel's favor. Going to hopefully get another Inkay down, and he's going to let loose and hopefully stop Michael from getting going.
No, personally, anytime I opt for that first turn Marshadow, my opponent gets absolutely everything. Take him right out of that dead hand.
Yeah, it definitely happens. I was in a winning in the cup previously. Got all my Pokemon out. I was playing Zork Weavile and playing a stage 2 deck. I think it was Metagross, and let loose them to 4 cards and ended up being Beldum, Cynthia. So it definitely does happen sometimes.
Oh, yes. So is on the bench. Both are shuffling up. He did get another Inkay on that bench. And Michael is going to go down to 4 with only that Lele as his active Pokemon. If he doesn't get a draw supporter here, he's already out one of his 2 Tapu Leles in his deck now. Little less chances to be drawing into it and getting a strong start.
Yeah, we definitely want to hopefully see here. He wants to see the Lily. He wants to see a couple of these Rock Ruffs come down. He doesn't even have to look at his hand yet. He wants to wait a little bit. He doesn't want to give Danny any information. No poker reads here. He's going to wait just a bit before he's able to.
Picks up his hand, smile a little bit.
Yeah,
Daniel drops another Marshadow.
Exactly. You don't know what else is over there. You don't want to give him any cues.
All right, so that Oricorio was coming down on the bench. We did not see that last round, and then 2 energies out.
Yeah, that awesome Vital Dance ability when you play from your hand to your bench. Search your deck for 2 basic cards. That's a cool combo with this deck because you can grab those basic energies and use it to attach. You can use them through Mysterious Treasure and Ultra Ball to discard to the discard pile to help power up those psychic recharges that Malamar have.
I do have to say, though, my favorite combination with the Oricorio was the Alolan Executor deck that we saw. So they put that down on the bench. They grab 2 different energies, immediately discard them with an Ultra Ball and get set up. All right, and passes over. We now get first chance to see his cards. Guzma. Ooh, there is a Cynthia in there. It looks like
and an
perhaps
Ultra Ball and a Buzzwole GX. We're probably going to see an Ultra Ball get away to Buzzwole and probably one of the Guzmas. Unfortunately, yeah, you want to hold those Guzmas, but we do want to start seeing your Pokemon come down. So, cards see a Rockruff come to the bench, and Cynthia, I hope we draw some more cards.
All right, yeah. The deck does have 4 Guzma, so a little bit of wiggle room.
For Guzma, 3 Lycanroc GX. He's fine, but, you want every piece there. You get down to those last few turns and maybe just end up coming up short missing 1 Guzma. But you never know. Definitely the right call here to get this Rockruff down. And Cynthia for a fresh hand of 6.
Last card in hand was a Guzma, so that's just going to be shuffled back into our deck here. A couple different things. If you can get that Brooklet down, that'd be nice with getting another Rockruff setup in play. He doesn't have to worry about getting that Diancie out quite yet, considering there was not a Kameko that was put down.
Yeah, exactly. A very good point there. Since Chimeco is not put down, while it does help, damage in the later game, he doesn't have to prioritize it as much now. So definitely wants to get those Rockruffs down just before he starts streamlining those Malamars and gets these attackers going. So we can see that there, see that Brooklet Hill, see some of these Ultra Balls bring these Rockruffs down. Great to get this game going.
All right, so we're drawing cards. We see a DCE, another Buzzwole.
No, you definitely don't want to bench the Buzzwole GX, but it looks like that might be it. This is could
just
be
the DCE attached to that Rockruff.
This could be a big turn for Danny if he has the pieces here to evolve. Get the Pokemon down to take out this Rockruff off of Guzma.
Right, so
Has a
Nightfall
Mimikyu.
for that Mimikyu.
We might be seeing a Filch here. Danny's hand might not be strong enough. You might be seeing a Filch here just to kind of get his hand a little bit boosted through Mimikyu's attack.
I mean, as long as Michael isn't top decking the dream here. Oh, does he have a Cynthia in hand?
So,
was that the top deck?
I think on top deck was the Cynthia there. Oh, no, sorry, he just drew now for the Lily. But it's funny enough, Danny did use Mimikyu there to Filch, retreating that Inkay, drawing 2 cards. It's just really, these players do whatever they can to kind of get all the consistency that they can to get this deck going. Bloodthirsty Eyes on the Inkay.
Right. So unsure. Well, Cynthia, he could hopefully get that other Rockruff fighting. He could actually get that DCE onto the Lele if he wants to start swinging, or he can just continue to put a fighting energy onto his Lycanroc, get that all set up.
Yeah, absolutely here. Hopefully we can get some more pieces to this puzzle right now. I'm trying to see if there's any additional switch cards right now. Yep, sorry, 2 switch. To be able to get that Lele out of active. So hopefully, fighting energy, switch. You can see a KO on one of these Inkays here, slowing down Daniel's setup.
Shame that Daniel couldn't quite get those pieces to be taking out that Rockruff while he had the chance. Might come back to bite him a little bit here. He does have quite the strong setup, but if those Inkays start getting knocked out, that's not going to prove very well.
Looks like we just missed the piece here on a switch, and actually he has no draw support either. It looks like it's 2 items. That might be a Beast Ring.
Choice like a choice man in there.
Yeah, so no draw support here. However, Baby Buzz is going to come down. Probably going to see the fighting energy go to. No, he's going to hold the fighting energy, I think. And yep, I like this here. Going to use the energy drive there. And you want to see that fighting energy also to be able to attach to Lycanroc GX if the opportunity arises.
All right. Still not quite sure what is in Daniel's hand. He could get another skateboard here to be bringing that Inkay back to the bench. We're probably not going to be seeing any jet punches. I don't think Michael's going to be bringing one of those GXs down on the bench, so that Inkay should be safe back there.
No, he definitely wants to make Daniel Altavilla work for it here. He doesn't want to give him any easy 2 prizes here. He wants to make him earn it, but he had 2 Malamar in hand, drops to the bench, plays a Cynthia. Daniel's right now getting his deck rolling here. The only unfortunate thing I will say right now is that Daniel has a full bench and no attackers. So if played right, honestly, Michael could probably just sit here and gradually set up his board to the point to where my board is so set up, no matter what you do, I have game now.
Okay, his only options would be attacking through that Malamar, attaching the 3, hit that Marshadow, or the Mimikyu. He can either draw those cards, and as long as Michael uses a GX attack, if he opts to do so, Mimikyu can't copy that. He's still stuck.
I think, honestly, Michael's just here right now. Just, yeah, like you're saying, look, like we're saying there, he's going to go. Just sit there, not even going to attack. I would not knock out any Pokemon. Because the second you do, that is when Daniel's going to be able to bring up these Deoxys, bring up the Necrozmas, Marshadows to really streamline his knockouts. So if he could just hold off here.
Oh.
Maybe there's a piece that he might know that I don't, but.
Well, if Daniel's not having the strongest of hands right now and he's keeping that Mimikyu active, he's drawing I believe, 2 cards.
Yeah,
Every time he attacks, just to build his hand.
true.
As soon as he takes his 1 prize, he can just bam, Necrozma bench and just start taking hits.
It's also a very good point there as well. You know, we maybe take out the attacker there, stop Danny from getting his hands going there, but at the same time, Michael's not getting anything going on his end. So
Yeah, we are seeing 3 of the DCE in play already. 2 of them to that Lele.
we could see Moon's Eclipse GX coming with the Donwees the Crosman going to the board. What's that going to do here? It's going to hit for 180 damage and make him vulnerable to any damage next turn.
Goodness, that'd be quite an interesting way to be swinging this game. We see that Marshadow come out. There it is.
He wanted to do a double check right there to make sure you can't touch that. And yes, that is right. You are not touching this Marshadow GX right now. He is vulnerable from any effect that you want to do.
Now, is it only that Lycanroc that can't hit it, or can that Baby's Buzz do
Any
a little
damage.
bit? Any damage.
Any damage. This Marshadow GX is immune. He's impervious. He is not being touched. There's a big wall in front of him stopping any damage.
It's a shame it's already evolved. If it was still a little Rockruff, he could be opting to.
The bloodthirsty eyes. I definitely see that play there as well. And what's not fortunate for Michael here is that Daniel's going to have an opportunity to get out of sledgehammer range. He's vulnerable. He's immune to damage. So this Buzzle's going to go down without even having any use.
We see that pass here. No Guzma in hand. Didn't have the worst of hands until that Cynthia, and that kind of took a hit. All right, we see a Lily in Daniel's hands.
All right.
Seeing that right there. And
sorry. See what he did: hard retreat, brought the Inkay up to the active, re-retreated using with the Necrozma GX in the discard pile. Guzma up, put my bench for game with through Prismatic Burst.
We see them all pick up their cards. We are going to a game 3 here.
It looks like this time around with the let loose, Michael got the wrong end of the spectrum on that one there, and unfortunately could not get going. You know, the format is like that right now. You know, there are opportunities to establish a strong board, and you kind of pray a little bit that you get the supporters you need, get the draw power you want to survive a let loose.
Wasn't quite a slaughter though. Both players did struggle to set up. It was a dangerous pass from Michael there, but Daniel wasn't able to capitalize on it. Had to just put that Mimikyu active and just take cards.
Absolutely there. I wonder if he was able to kind of just let Daniel keep drawing cards and hold off till he got his board set up, who would have actually been the victor there as far as the prize race.
I don't think he would have been able to get enough cards in his hand in play to really be able to swing if Daniel's taking 2 for Michael's 1.
True.
Daniel's always going to be ahead. The second Michael takes a prize,
yep,
he has that bench space. He has everything set up and going for him.
Very fair, very fair. I could agree with that there. Game 3, 43 minutes, ticking down on the clock. Plenty of time for these players to solidify their last game, with one person going to be able to go to the final match of the Memphis Regional.
Right. Hopefully Michael's seeing a little more luck and not going to start another Lele here.
Yeah, I definitely hope that Michael really get his board set up here. He definitely played it well game 1. Looks like he has the Brooklyn Hill this time. Just needs a basic to complement it. Oh man, Lele yet again. But fortunately enough for him, he does play 2 Acerola. So if that Lele gets any type of damage to it that's not a knockout, he will be able to return it to hand and proceed with a strategy. And Chimako right off the back for Daniel.
See, it's almost better in this situation that Chimako didn't do any damage, because that is giving Michael the option to hitting that Acerola, get that Tapu Lele back. Wouldn't be able to play it, but it's now not stuck on the board just as a dead card.
I kind of want to see how earlier in today's round we saw Pablo approach a similar strategy to these Pablo Meza approach the strategy for Chimako to attach DCE to Lele. And once Chimako attaches his energy, you could actually just Kukui and get the knockout of the Chimako. And as he does play 2 Kukui, that could be a strategy here to take out that threat to allow him to get to these Lycanroc GXs and so on and so forth. So we shall see what happens here.
We'll just have to Michael just have to make sure he has all those pieces set up and ready to go. If he doesn't, he has that Lele still stuck in hand. He's not going to be able to play that down to grab that essential Kukui here.
Absolutely here. Brooklyn Hill getting the Rockruff to the bench. Also has one in hand, so he's a little bit, he's stumbling a little bit right now. There's no draw support in his hand, but hopefully here in the next go around, maybe if I let loose from Daniel, he'll be able to get going.
He has another DCE in hand as well, so he attaches the one onto the Rockruff onto his bench. He can attach the second one to his Lele next turn if he chooses to swing, or he can just attach that onto the other Rockruff, just get set up, save his DCEs instead of attaching them all to that active.
He does have the Marshadow already in hand as well, so we're probably going to see a little bit of setup through the Inks, and I think we're going to see another turn one let loose from Daniel.
I mean, not really sure that is the worst thing for Michael here, considering his hand, considering his board state. The DCE for the Lele might hurt a little bit if he was to pull off that Kukui, but
it looks like a Mysterious Treasure is actually going to dump that Marshadow to get another Inkay. So unless Danny has the Red Stretcher in hand, we're probably not going to see that turn one let loose that we were just mentioning.
All right, 2 cards left in hand. Last one seems to be a Guzma.
Last one's, yeah, Lily Guzma. So we're going to see a Lily here for 7 cards to the hand. Brooklyn Hill, do a quick inventory, maybe even grab the Marshadow GX.
And he does take that Marshadow GX, puts that down on the bench. Definitely would not have seen that come out and play quite as often if we didn't have that Brooklet out, but it's definitely going pretty well for Daniel with that Marshadow. I don't think we've seen the Necrozma out on the bench once.
No, I don't. Actually, none of his attackers really have been out in any of these series here. At one point, there was a Deoxys during game 2. During game 1. But right now, he's been piloting all through Marshadow GX.
I mean, definitely not bad strategy. The worst part, of course, being the HP. But I mean, if Michael's not getting that set up, not getting a spot to take that knockout on the Marshadow, what's the harm?
Yep. No, fully agree there. So another Inkay coming to the board. Daniel had a full hand right there off that Lily. Probably going to be a Psychic Energy coming to the Chimico. Acro Bike. Easy choice there. Psychic goes to the bin all day, every day.
Oh, yes. Attaches the other one onto that active Kameko here.
And Bella Silence. So now Michael can't play Lele. Michael can't play Lycanroc. So rough spot to be in. So he's probably going to have to just attach Double Colorless and Energy Drive. He has to approach this Chimico as a threat.
Was that a Lily, though, that I saw in his hand?
A Lily. Yep, there is a Lily. So you can draw a couple additional colored cards as well.
Not going to do him too much good, but at least it's hopefully something.
Yes, I fully agree there. Probably going to grab a Buzzwole here since he already has the 2 Rockruffs off the Brooklyn Hill. DCE to active and Lily.
Yeah. So he'll be able to 2-shot the Kameko. He won't be able to really utilize those Lycanrocs too much, but if he can draw into a couple good supporting cards for the next turn, hit that perhaps a Cynthia or something for the next turn, then he can get those Lycanrocs active.
You know, it definitely does not feel good that you're not taking down a 70 HP Pokemon in one shot, but it looks like he's opting to attach to the Rockruff. Going back and forth right now to figure out what's the best play.
Yeah, there's, as long as that Kameko is out, he's not going to be able to attack with those Rockruffs.
What I think Michael's eyeing down here is to let him Bella Silence one more time, Acerola, and it kind of had that repeat chain we saw game 1 where Acerolas the Lele, brings up the Buzzwole, Brooklyn Hills for the Diancie, and then Sledgehammers.
Only thing that could really go wrong for him right now is if he top decks that DNC.
That's also very true, very true. Let's go ahead and knock on the table for that one right there. Let's see what happens. But
right. Hopefully he gave up all of his bad luck with those 2 Tapu Lele starts here.
Yes. Cynthia, though, however, on Daniel's side, as it was just a pass. And we could be seeing, if there is a Necrozma GX in that discard pile, another Prismatic Burst here to take out the Tapu Lele.
All right, he won't even have to worry about that Acerola if that is the case here. So as long as he gets that Diancie down, gets the energy on that Buzzwole, he can start swinging here. Puts the Deoxys in his discard pile with that Acrobike. Clearing up a little space, looks like he has an Inkay in hand, and he benches it.
Inkay, number 4, coming to the board. Gonna see a Psychic Recharge double up. I don't see what Pokemon are in there. Come on, Danny, give us some love. We need another discard pile check.
Just playing too fast.
We do know there is a Deoxys in there, so you could be looking at doing a Psychic play, or just another Bell of Silence while he's waiting to set up. And yep, that's what we see, Bell of Silence. can't play any Pokemon with abilities from your hand during this turn for Michael.
Right. And he top decks the Cynthia here, so he has Cynthia, Guzma in hand. Looking through that discard, hopefully shows us a
Okay,
little love.
Necrozma GX, Marshadow, Dawnwing. So 2 Deoxys, Dawnwing's Necrozma, and a Necrozma GX. I'm leaning up on the screen like it's going to change the difference here, but it's just there's no additional zoom like I can see around the corner.
No, I understand. All day I've been on the other side, and now I'm like, what are those cards?
Yeah, so we doing an inventory check right now. Was able to see there was a Necrozma and Deoxys in there, so Marshadow does have options through that Shadow Hunt ability here, but probably going to see the Brooklet Hill first, maybe for the Nancy, or is it going to opt to Cynthia first?
For the Cynthia. All right. Depending on the way he wants to go here, I might have just benched that Nancy just to be safe, get it out of the way. Also, one less card that he's able to draw into his hand that would be dead.
Exactly the point there. One less card in the deck. Up those odds to get what you need right now. But at the same time, since he's not Cynthia, he's not going to be able to Ace Arola to get the Lele out of active. He does have switches, so we'll see what comes from this fresh 6 from the Cynthia.
Cutting now. 3-part cut. And here we go. Looks like a B-string Baby Buzz.
No energy, unfortunately, there. Baby Buzz, Lycanroc GX, Lele. Sorry, it's a Lele, not Lycanroc GX, and B-string. So very anemic, not much going on. I think he's probably going to bench the Baby Buzz, and I wonder if he's going to do a Brooklet Hill to see if you can get that Diancie, or maybe just hold off because he might want that bench space for when Dane decides to not build Bella Silence and uses Lele in hand.
It's nice having those rock roughs with the energies on it, but I feel like there might maybe be a little bit of regret not being able to take out that Kameko. Daniel is just getting the cards. He's got that Marshadow set up. He's got 2 Malamars, 2 Inkays. He's got a pretty good... He's in a pretty good spot right now, and Michael doesn't seem to be quite catching up here.
Yeah, and Danny's kind of going through. He's trying to decide if he really wants to use his rescue structure or not. I'm assuming he probably won't at this point because he needs those attackers in the discard pile for Marshadow to work. However, I don't see what else he could do. Maybe a Cynthia, Guzma. It's really hard to tell right now what he has in his hand.
See, I know you guys complained earlier about not being able to see hands when they go so fast. I'm like, oh, no, it can't be that bad, but...
No, well, this is probably like what we considered was bad earlier times 10 because the flick of the wrist with Daniel is intense right now with how fast he's able to flicker through those cards.
All right, so putting that energy, maybe not, maybe on that Marshadow GX.
So I think he's contemplating if he really wants to take this knockout right now and make the first move. Because I think he's eyeing down, does Michael have all the pieces to A, attack with Lycanroc, or B, even get the Sledgehammer play. But going to opt to take the Rock Ruff, and I like this better. Because now, if he can get the knockout over turn on the Lele, he's going to be out of the Sledgehammer turn, and not allowing Michael to do any real damage.
Worst case worse, if he does get that Lycanroc active, he did have that rescue structure in hand. If I'm not mistaken, he can just grab that back, take it out.
It looks like he decided to use Dark Flash from the Dawn Wings Necrozma, keeping all his energy on there and just doing that base of 120 on the Rock Ruff for knockout.
Awesome.
But
doesn't have to worry about swapping to the bench.
Yep.
Only way you can use the Malamar ability and then bring it back active. He's just locked and loaded.
Absolutely there, and it looks like he's going to be Brooklet Hill in here. Probably going to look at that Diancie now, or maybe another Rock Ruff. But the big thing here is Michael can play abilities from hand, so that Lele going to be able to assist him here as he tries to play catch-up.
All right, finally putting that Diancie down. Might have done that last turn, but he might have been a little unsure of what direction he was taking there, not wanting to use up the valuable bench space. And we are seeing that second Lele come down, actually getting to capitalize on the Wonder Tag ability, unlike the active start.
Yep. And I think he's going to try to go for the bank play here. Like, he doesn't have the guarantee on the Lycanroc GX in hand right now. So he's going to try to play as many cards as he can, and then Cynthia, and pray that he hits the Ultra Ball or draws right into one of his 3 Lycanroc GX.
Right. To my knowledge, none of them have gone to the discard pile yet. So hopefully he would have checked if they're in his prizes right now. He wouldn't be playing such a confident play if he thought he wasn't going to hit it, or at least had a good chance to.
He's gone through a fair amount of his deck so far, so he's got to have the odds in his favor to be able to hit some kind of piece to get him to that Lycanroc GX.
So if he doesn't hit it, I'm not quite sure what he can do here.
Well, exactly, and going back to what we were saying the first game, as far as being able to have the choice band, where he opted to use Kukui that one first time, choice band now mitigating that. Oh no,
No, he does
he doesn't even
not
have
hit
anything
it.
remotely close.
Nothing
That
but
is going to
Ultra
be the
Ball.
game-turning play right there. Not being able to hit that Lycan Rock GX off of that Cynthia, and yeah, I mean he can.
He can flip a coin for a surprise attack.
Surprise attack and a hit for, 60, 80 damage, but
I mean, that's
that is
half his
so
HP.
unfortunate. He's going to hard retreat here, bring up the other Rock Ref to be taken down. He wants to conserve, and so he's not directly out of it just yet, but if Daniel has the Guzman right now, he's gonna have a big hill to
Yeah,
climb.
that'd be no energy on board. Only one Rock Ruff in play with no energy. It's not leaving him in a very favorable board state here. Shuffling through. Looks like it might have been a serious treasure that was played from hand.
Yeah, grab it another Malamar, right to the board. If he gets a 4/4 Malamar, that is just what this deck screams for. Like you really want. If you get that initial setup there's really nothing you can't do in any matchup.
Don't think I've seen anyone today have 4. Most can't even get a full 3 on the bench, but 4? Crazy.
Well, the dream is definitely potential right now. The dream is definitely alive and could happen here off of the Cynthia to 6 if it is not prized.
All right. No, not quite sure what he drew off here, and then he is. Looks like he's gonna hard retreat, or does he have that Guzma?
Well, he just played Cynthia, so
So he wouldn't be able to play
won't
that
be able to do the
Guzma
Guzman,
anyways.
however. But he's gonna Bella Silence, forcing him not to be able to put the Lycan Rock GX down and get his like this kind of.
Yeah, unless he
reevaluate
hits
and
that
slow down.
switch, that little Rock Ruff is stuck there too. He can manually retreat it, but there would be no point considering he was willing to put it in the active to be sacrificed anyways. There's no way he'd be able to even tap it with that Lele. Maybe he could hope for that Kukui into that DCE and switch, but the likelihood.
He's eyeing now playing a Kukui right now, but it's almost like a Kukui just to play versus any real net effect, unfortunately, which is why he's contemplating it. But we do see the Kukui come down one card away from the Ultra Ball.
As it would be. Michael has not seen the best of luck for this game or the last game, however, and not being able to play the Kameko because of the Kameko and stuff is certainly not helping his cause.
All right, Danny, full hand, ready to get full steam ahead right now. Gonna probably see probably a Guzman knockout in either that Ansi or the Rock Ruff with the energy applied onto it. But Danny's really getting everything set up right now. See a Lily, see a Cynthia. Not sure if he has the Guzma.
Even if Michael does manage to get some sort of setup here, Daniel just seems so far ahead by this board state. Don't think he can.
And a great thing here for Michael, though, is that Danny's attacking through Marshadow, which is a GX Pokemon. So if Michael can eventually get out of his pace right now and get going, he can just streamline those knockouts onto Marshadows. Is Danny's choice of attacker for this matchup.
He does have 2 Rescue Stretcher in his deck. Unsure quite if he has played one or not, but if Michael does take that knockout on the Marshadow, we could see that Rescue Stretcher coming into play, just benching another attacker, swinging yet again.
Absolutely there. So doing a little deck count, trying to see what's left and see what plays he can pull off before he thins himself out too much here. So I pretty much was coming out to, do I Bella Silence one more turn, or do I go ahead and make the play in? So let's do the Bella Silence.
All right.
Lily
so
for
see
one.
That Lily for a switch.
Surprise attack for the knockout.
Haven't seen this at all today.
That is.
What a surprise.
All right, I'm not mad at that one. That was set up for there. I'll give you a high five for that one. All right, we're getting there with the pun. Sierra getting in. All right, on to Daniel's turn. Promotes Inke. And I'm trying to think here. Danny, 5 for 5 right now. Game 3 of top 4. Marshadow GX loaded, but no real threats on Michael's side that he wants to KO. I mean, they're just rockers right now. They're little puppies. You don't want to do anything to them just yet. And a Lele is kind of useless. So looks like he's opting to go after that Lele to try to make the first move on Michael's side.
All right. Opts to take that Brooklet. Surely just look through his deck, see what is in there, what he has to work with. Is it kind of bad that I'm hoping he takes another Another knockout with that rock ruff. Maybe that.
You always want to see the glorified win here. You want to see the little plays go the distance sometimes. And
There is one little Inkay still kicking on the bench. He could go for it in the worst case scenario.
Yep. So second recharge to the Malamar. It's probably looking down to use a side beam, I believe is what the attack is called, for a knockout at some point in the game, or maybe just a pivot Pokemon if any of the skateboard Pokemon do get KO'd. But Prismatic Burst,
And yet again,
KO
going down
on the
to
Lele.
the 3 prizes instead of the 4. Can't even get that big hit.
Coming out to the early turn where he could have KO'd the Lele, but opted to KO a Rocket Ruff instead, going away from those Sledgehammer turns. However, 3 or 4 prizes he has, Beast Ring is in full effect now.
That's true. That he can get those onto the Buzzwole with that Deancey in play and a Choice Band, perhaps. We could see devastating effects. The Marshallow's HP
So
doesn't really help it too
he has
much.
3 Beast Rings in hand right now, plus an Ultra Ball. So he has plenty of options to get energy right now. So it's just figuring out what he wants to do. And he does have a Lycanroc GX, so
Which he can now play.
he can now play, but now is just trying to figure out what can I do. Yes, I can get the knockout right now to Marshall GX, but what can I do to stop Daniel from being able to get back into the Marshadow and return the KO on myself?
Oh, those 3 Malamar on the bench are certainly dangerous. All he has to do, bench a Pokemon, all the energy from the discard back onto it, and just chain KOs.
And all he has to do is attach 1 energy to a returning Marshadow if he has the Rescue Stretcher, because 4 energy on the Marshall GX. Prismatic Burst does KO a 200 HP Lycanroc GX. So a little bit behind now, Michael. Maybe a little bit too late to the party, but still has chances here, and we gotta see what he pulls off here. Honestly, if he can get the KO with the Buzzwole versus the Lycanroc GX off of a swing around, this may be a better option for him.
100%. And we do see on Daniel's bench that Malamar does have 2 energy on it. So he can either attack with it if he gets desperate or retreat it, though the Inkay does have an escape board as well. And he Lilies for 3, I believe.
Big thing here, no ability on either Lycanroc. Just want to evolve them, narrow down his hand a little bit to get the Lily effect. And now he's in a double Beast Ring.
All right, now just to see if he has enough energy in hand. 1, 2, and he...
And one's still left in deck, so you can still set up the. Here's the scary thing here is that you don't want to like get rid of too much of your energy. There's no energy recovery right now, no Super Rod or any other types of things where he could do in his deck. Super Rod not being legal in. He's trying to decide how he wants to handle his Beast Ring.
All right, a little bit of discussion
So
looks going between the 2.
what happened is that when he presented both Beast Rings, he presented them equal in partner with each individual Buzzwole. And now he's trying to say, is it possible for him to play that second Beast Ring on the first Buzzwole?
I'm no judge, but judging by the card text, it allows you to search your deck for the energies before attaching it. You do not have to actually pick the target for the energies beforehand. Therefore, after searching his deck, it's a new chance to change where he wants to be putting them.
Yeah, I do fully agree there. But the way he presented it was that here's Beast Ring for this one, here's Beast Ring for this Buzzwole, as far as how he laid it out, which is what the discrepancy here. So I don't know text-wise, judge ruling-wise, what's going to happen here, if that's actually going to be a ruling in place, because, as you said, the text is attached to any Pokemon, but since he targeted those specifically, I wonder how that's going to be ruled here for Michael.
All right, so we're hearing a little bit of discussion between the players here, just trying to figure out the play itself. We have still plenty of time left in the round.
Yeah, there's plenty of different time. Danny, I think, is pretty set up here. I think their headphones are still on, so hopefully they can't hear too much of what we're saying here. But Rescue Stretcher in hand, we see on Danny's side. So even as Marshall GX does come down, he already has 2 energy, plus the escape board, Inkay to retreat, recharge, hit him again, rinse, repeat. So unless Michael can pull off a big turn here, maybe attack it through, swing around to get the KO, and hope Dana's had the Guzma plays.
Yeah, knowing
Daniel
what
set
Daniel has, and knowing that Michael doesn't have any disruption to stop him, doesn't look like anything.
So it looks
too
like
hot.
Looks like Gustavo Wada did win his top 4 match as well, so we do have a guaranteed 1 Malamar deck in the finals here at Memphis Regional here, and as this board is going right now, there's a good chance we will have a mirror match here in the final.
And that will be Gustavo Wada on stream for the 4th time as well.
Gustavo Wada, loving the camera time, loving the TV time here. Everyone loves it.
And we've been loving watching him play, just picking on him all day, bringing him over here.
And it looks like the ruling is still being discussed right now. They're trying to figure out what it is right now. Honestly,
I feel like it might not be so much the ruling as discussion whether they can even play out the game. Judging off board state, though, I'm not really sure why the discussion is being had considering the amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things here. Like, should they even play? Honestly, it's just kind of like let them just do the B string to the Buzzwole. You already know you have your board set up.
I don't think it really matters.
Yeah.
That he pointed to the Buzzwole. That's just a little bit of sloppy play.
Yeah. Exactly.
Honestly, it really shouldn't.
Fully agree there. If I was Danny's shoes, I would say, yeah, that's fine. It says any Pokemon, do your thing, bro. Let's play. All right. All right, so headsets are off right now, so we can't really talk about the matchup right now as they're deciphering what's going on right now. What we can do is we're going to put you on a brief hold right now while we go assess the situation here, and then we'll be right back with you once we figure out what is going on, all right? So we'll be right back with you here very shortly. We are back here from our moment of pause right now to kind of reevaluate the situation now that the players' headphones are on. What was presented, it was that, sorry, one more second. Okay, so we're full reset. Full reset,
right.
Cool. So this is the assessment situation here. What happened was Michael had 2 baby buzzes on board, and I'll one take the shortcut option to play a B string on first Buzzwole and B string on second Buzzwole, and 1 is shortcut and 1 search. However, evaluating through his deck right now, he opted to switch his decision and only apply both B strings to 1 Pokemon. However, because they were targeted for the shortcut, it was one of those things there that they wanted to assess the situation there because he's changing his mind after the situation there. However, judge did allow the reset because the card up allows you to not have the decision yet. And now here we are, 3 energy on a Baby Buzz, Lycanroc GX. Looks like it took the KO with Claw Slash, and we're on to Danny's turn.
All right, we do see that Rescue Stretcher coming into play there. It looks like he's bringing that Marshadow right back. That little Inkay active.
We're going to see the 4th Malamar come down.
Yeah.
Marshadow out, 4th Malamar if it's not prized. Deox is coming down here. So it looks like the Malamar wasn't in his deck, so it might be in his prizes or already in a discard pile. But opted to get the Deoxys to be able to do that final blow through Power Blast on, or maybe even Psychic on that loaded Buzzwole with 3 energy.
Oh, yeah. And has he used both of the Rescue Stretchers now, or still only the 1?
I think it's just the 1. However, so it's just only the 1. He's going to be able to load up this Marshadow GX through do Retreat the Inkay, Prismatic Burst to KO the Lycanroc GX.
Man, attaching 4 energies in a turn, and then now he has 4 of those Malamar online.
There's 4 Malamar. All the Calamari's out. The full bench is set up. There is nothing stopping Daniel from getting to this final match. And there's the second Rest Stretcher right there in his hand if anything happened to this Marshadow GX. Prismatic Burst going down to Lycanroc to take the knockout on the Lycanroc.
I feel like that was the only time today we actually saw what was in Daniel's hand, but that was a nice little snippet to be getting. Michael does have the Baby Buzz with the 3 energy and a Lycanroc with 2 energy on his bench. However, Daniel only needs to be taking 1 more prize, and he's got a pretty solid board state here.
Yeah, right now he has exactly set up between having the pivot on the Malamar to attack with the Deoxys the following turn, to KO the Buzzwole. If Michael opts to present the Lycanroc GX, he does have, and to KO this Marshadow, he does have the Rest Stretcher in hand already to bring it back. So unless Michael has a way to disrupt his hand in the form of Judge, which looks like he does not play, I think we're going to see Daniel Altavilla take this one to the final here. But let's see what Michael can string away to bring himself back into the driver's seat.
Daniel just waiting patiently. Pretty sure he knows he has win in hand. He has win, but Michael doesn't know that. He's putting like that Lycanroc 2 energy. Is it only the 2 damage counters on it?
Looks like it's just 2 damage counters on it from those early Bell of Silence from the early part of the game. Top deck's Beast Energy. Um, yeah, it's a very tough spot to be at. I don't think there's really any. I'm trying
Really
to do
don't think
different
there's any
numbers right
outs.
now. Even he gets the KO here with the Lycanroc GX, like we said.
With no disruption
Rescue.
in his deck,
Yep.
I really don't think there's an out unless player error, but Daniel has proved time and time again that he is a more than capable player. He's not going to mess this last little stage up here, especially not to get into the final round.
Absolutely here. So I wonder, Michael's trying to evaluate each of his pieces here to try to figure out what he can do. Brooklyn Hill, do a little quick inventory check right now, what he has. And Daniel is just waiting for his turn to go so he can do the inevitable final blow to take himself to the finals of the Memphis TCG Regional.
Oh yeah, even with the weakness on the two final Buzzwoles in play, he can even just attach a third energy to that Malamar and swing with that if he so chose. With that Guzma, but he wouldn't have to with that Rescue Stretcher in his hand.
Michael going through all of its outs right now, see if there's any little lingering pieces that he may have to bring himself back into this, but
I think the puzzle's done.
I think exactly. I think it's done for right now. I think we're gonna see a Malamar versus a Malamar matchup here in the final. And Buzzrocks unfortunately could not get past that big wall that is Psychic Dex, and inevitably we're just waiting for that final turn. Gonna see a Claw Slash here, or even a Dangerous Rogue for the KO. It's gonna have to be Dangerous
No
Rogue to be a
choice
kid.
band. You won't be able to get that KO without. So we do see that Dangerous Rogue there.
And right on cue, Rescue Stretcher, Quad. Oh, he's teasing it. He is teasing it. Rescue Stretcher, Marshadow,
Trying to see how
Quad,
many
Psychic
cards that he can
Recharge.
put down.
Gonna let him finish, do his due diligence. Oh, he even added a fifth there. Prismatic Burst for 310 damage on the Lycanroc GX, allowing Danny to solidify his game 3, bringing him to the finals of here at Memphis.
Oh yeah, ever since it got down to that 3 prizes, it didn't really seem like there was an out for Michael there. There's 4 Malamar on bench. What are you going to do?
Yeah, he got really set up there. I mean, we haven't, like we said, we haven't seen that yet today. 4 Malamar on the bench. Hit his Rescue Stretchers. 3
out there, and you're
it's still scary.
That
3 is just intense scary, and then now you got 4 out there. It's just it's a battlefield.
Now you can attach an extra 5th energy for that extra KO.
Michael was the awkward one at the party full of squids, and was not able to get through, and unfortunately could not win here in that top 4. But what we're going to do here, we're going to take a brief second here. Going to speak with Daniel just a bit before we bring in the finals match against Gustavo Wada. And we are back with our top 4 winner of the match, Daniel Altavilla, piloting his Malamar deck successfully over the Buzzrock that Michael was piloting here. So let's go through the matchup a little bit right there. Right off the bat, that game 1, he was able to get a little ahead right there, had a lot of Rock Roast stream right there, and it looks like that initial Marshadow you played kind of favored him a bit there more than your side. So how are you feeling right now going through that game 1?
So I didn't have too much info on his deck. I knew that it was like more Lycanroc based than Buzzwole based, which is obviously an issue for Malamar since forever. And so after that game 1, I was like, all right, this is it. I am getting bodied in 5 minutes, and then that's it. But the Chime game 1 made me feel like, you know, I can actually set up 4 Malamars if I run hot enough, and that the matchup really is in my favor because I have the Chime. And actually, I think the matchup was easier because of his reliance on the Lycanrocs.
Absolutely there. I think once the Chime was approached there, it was really hard for him to hit a little bit of a stalemate. Could have put the Lycanroc down, could have get Lele down, and really didn't have a way around that.
Yeah.
There. Game 2, huge setup, able to get going there, and then game 3 was just kind of blown out of the water once you got the 4th Malamar down. Yeah. And it was kind of funny watching the rest stretcher after rest stretcher, and it's like, the pieces are there. You gotta see it there. So explain that little debacle though in regards to that beast ring play situation where he was targeting maybe his beast rings.
Yeah. So what happened was he was like, he asked me, can I shortcut these 2 beast rings? I'm putting 2 energies on each Buzz, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, dude. I don't care. It's, you know, we both have an understanding of what's going on. I'm not worried about a shortcut. We're just saving time. And then the issue was that he changed his mind, and he was like, oh, I just want to put both beast rings on this Buzz. And, like, normally I would be okay with it, but in top 4 of a regional, you know, if that was the misplay that could have lost me the game, then obviously I'm not going to just be like, yeah, sure. So he asked the judges, can I change this? And at that point, I'm like, I'll just go with whatever the judges say, and I'll just stay out of it.
Yep. No, fully understand that there.
But it was nothing, big.
Absolutely there. So we're in the finals now. You do know now it is a mirror match.
Yeah.
How are you feeling going into it? Are you, as far as approaching it, or how do you think it's going to go?
So I think it's, even though it's a mirror, it's a little harder, I want to say, than 50-50 because Gustavo has different setup tactics, like the Lunala Prism, and I think that could potentially make him like a turn faster, and also the fact that in order to knock out the Lunala, I need to use any of my GX Pokemon to actually get that KO. So that might be an issue. But besides that, Gustavo's my friend. We're both in finals, so I'm happy with whoever wins the event.
Absolutely. Congratulations again on making the finals here. Good luck to you here, and we'll bring you back here shortly with the finals match. Gustavo, Daniel, bring you that Malamar action.